They also had these cloverleaf roads, and they had people movers and escalators, and I figured these guys are smoking something. I mean, I don't. The funny part is, if you went to the 1939 World's Fair, you saw things that you never believed were going to happen. You thought, these guys are dreaming all this stuff up. Today, there is nothing. I mean, if they told me that all of us were going to have motors on our back and instead of cars we were going to fly around, I'd believe it. I don't believe anything's impossible anymore. In those days, I thought everything was impossible. So when I got to television, nobody knew what he was doing, really. It was all kind of like we put together with, rubber bands and glue and paste. And it was like a bunch of kids playing television. And it was like, it wasn't very good, but it was respectable. And in those early days, we always assumed it was always going to be like that. Black and white, captured on a film called a kinescope that you couldn't look at. And nobody ever realized. I used to hear these technicians walk around and they would talk about videotape. And I said, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And he said, pictures on tape. And I said, no, you're kidding me. You can't put pictures on tape. Then they used to talk about if you could get a rocket big enough and you could fire a satellite up into space. And in those days, space was something you never had enough of. You didn't know what space was exactly. And you could take a television signal and you'd bounce it off this satellite and you could reach everybody in the world, and you used to say, these guys are either drunk or they're kidding themselves, but you're going to do what? You're going to put a satellite into space, and you're going to realize there was a time when all this was kind of nut time. I mean, there were no teleprompters. We used to use cue cards, which we'd hold up, and it was literally the boob tube. And there wasn't much to look on it except Milton Berle. Milton Berle was the only thing anybody wanted to ever look at on television.